Morning, everyone. My name is Tyler Rudick, and today we will be talking about our group's plan on how to upscale the Uptown brand. I am joined alongside Kat Laga, Mahela Das, Alicia Pang, Nico Marino, and Davis Goldfader to make up our great team. Today, we'll be going over our research we conducted, defining Uptown's problem, our strategy and who we are targeting and why, opportunities Uptown has online and in person, our creative assets, and finally, we'll be going over Uptown's next steps. I'll pass it off to Davis now.
For our research, we conducted primary research, secondary research, a SWOT analysis, and then took from these insights and takeaways. Starting with our primary research, the first research that we got was from the questions we had client meeting. We then connected students to determine level of involvement in different organizations that they work with. With this research, we found that they dedicate almost 4 to 5 hours of their time a week to these organizations. Another form of primary research that we used was a student survey. In this student survey, we asked questions that range from, do you know what Uptown is? And do you know where Uptown is? We also asked questions like, what are the characteristics that draw you to specific areas? Or if you know what Uptown is, what characteristics could be added to draw you to this area? With this information, we then got 2 main takeaways. The first being that people want more green spaces, and also got the chance to understand the logistics of using student groups to help boost Uptown's future endeavors. For our secondary research, we kind of were left to our own devices and did our own research on Uptown and our own social media analysis. Within this, we found that what Uptown needs is a more consistent brand image. Moving on to our SWOT analysis, as you can see, we have a list of the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. These lists were used to help influence the recommendations that we have come up with for Uptown as a whole. Now I would like to pass it off to Tyler to talk about the problem.
So the problem that is currently facing the neighborhood of Uptown is being unknown to many other people. Through a survey conducted with individuals aged 19 to 23, we discovered 6% of them did not know what Uptown was or where Uptown is. With Uptown being unheard of for a majority of people, our goal is to obviously help make this unknown recognizable. The picture on the left shows the neighborhood with a strong, weak identity compared to the mock-ups of what the future of Uptown will be, with showing a strong, recognizable brand image. So talking about this brand image, the goal of our group is to create a cohesive theme for Uptown in person and online. On the left side of the slide are our ideas for the Uptown Partners' new colors. We really wanted to incorporate clean and safe into the Uptown brand. We selected the 2 shades of green that we did because green is associated with life, renewal, nature, and energy, while matching the colors of Uptown Partners. To best incorporate our primary research, we recommend that Uptown starts hosting community events like Uptown Day, which we will outline later in our presentation. Also, we recommend putting up posters and lamppost banners that incorporate these colors that are on the slide now. Another recommendation that we have is a more guerrilla marketing approach and to have sidewalk QR code promotions to bridge our in-person and online tactics. Finally, we must utilize Uptown's social media platforms to not only promote this cohesive brand image, but also target our key demographics. Now I will pass it off to Katie.
So here you can see our hero graphic, which we feel best represents what we're trying to achieve with Uptown and the brand that we're trying to create. So this incorporates the pre-existing assets and the mock-ups of the Uptown neighborhood, as well as the color scheme that we've proposed and the keywords clean and safe, as the clients have mentioned they want to be associated with. We've also included the phrase, "This is Uptown," which is commonly used in Uptown promotions. So going into our strategy, our main goal is to target community members and boost in-person and online engagement through establishing a consistent brand image. So we plan to do this in 3 ways: in-person and online branding, as well as establishing an annual event for Uptown. Our in-person elements consist of our posters and banners, which we'll elaborate on in a little bit, which incorporate the brand colors, keywords, and artwork, as Tyler had mentioned. And these will appear around the area on sidewalks and light posts. The idea of in-person branding is meant to target the current residents of Uptown in hopes of instilling a sense of pride and belonging in the neighborhood, thus being more willing to engage in activities and growth around the neighborhood. We plan to track engagement through the use of QR codes, which will appear in more detail later, in order to determine high trafficked areas which ones may need more or less targeting depending on how much people participate in Uptown events. Again, boosting engagement through in-person tactics, we really want to clearly define what is Uptown and what the area consists of. Our online presence will also incorporate our brand elements through the website and social media. And these tactics are meant to target our younger demographics who tend to be more tech savvy and encourage them to visit Uptown. Engagement here will be tracked through likes and follows on Uptown pages, as well as some paid socials tactics, which Mihaela will touch on later. The specific goal of this tactic is to bring in people that may not know Uptown and show them the value that Uptown can provide. Finally, we plan to incorporate all of these elements to establish an annual event for residents and non-residents to look forward to. Engagement here can be tracked by observing people walking into and out of the area, as well as collaboration with those involved in the event with purchase behaviors. The goal of this event is to create a sense of community and something for people to look forward to. So without further ado, what actually is Uptown Day? So I want you to imagine a line of tents and great smelling food from all different restaurants all in one place. There's music in the air and the opportunity to see and help develop the Uptown area. So Uptown Day will consist of vendors from around the area where restaurant or bar owners can reserve or purchase table spaces to set up tents and promote their products. While visitors walk around and purchase food, they can listen to new musicians from local bands in Pittsburgh as a live concert plays at the end of the street. And as we know, the murals are a huge component of the cultural significance of Uptown. So what if artists commissioned to paint a mural could paint part of it in real time so visitors could see them in action? For those wanting to get their hands dirty, we also want to incorporate a community garden planting program where people can build garden beds, plant flowers, and clean up the area. Because as we know from our research, people want more green spaces, so why not let them help make it happen? We also plan to let these events be spearheaded by student groups from the surrounding universities as part of their philanthropy efforts, which the extent of their involvement will be detailed in the report. Having these interactive elements are sure to boost engagement and bring life into the neighborhood. So with that, we want to show you how this brand image holds up outside of this single day of the year with our in-person branding.
So with our in-person branding, we decided to focus on 3 different ad campaigns: banners, community posters, and sidewalk guerrilla marketing. The first one I'll talk about today is the community posters. So on the left is an example of an Uptown Day flyer, and it's a mock-up flyer for our Uptown Day initiative. This flyer utilizes the same green color scheme as Uptown Partners and advertises what Uptown Day would have to offer. This flyer could be distributed physically, both in restaurants and community centers, or digitally on social media to target those who are or aren't on social media or technologically savvy. The next campaign we would like to implement is banners. And so the banners are intended to be hung on light posts, as oftentimes when you're traveling through a new neighborhood, we notice signs that would say, "Welcome to whichever town you're in." And so these banners would help establish an image for the area through personal experiences, and would also help identify the area as well and establish a sense of community and pride. Our last in-person branding campaign includes sidewalk guerrilla marketing. This idea was inspired by the Love Your Crosswalk artwork, and we would designate the placements to be at busy crosswalks around Uptown and have QR codes linked to the social media accounts to drive engagement. And of course, it's important that a user's landing page experience is just as engaging. So Mihaela will talk about our social engagement next.
So in terms of social engagement, the current driving force of the social engagement of Uptown and its partners is raising awareness, with 4 main profiles starting with their website contact page, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Up to this point, the team targets social media posts and information to the corresponding age groups or categories, such as using hashtags like transit when talking about bus schedules or parking. There's a lot of active spending money occurring on Facebook campaigns to bring engagement to the page and attention to the organization's purpose. So we have created a small list of 3 steps Uptown partners can take to boost social media engagement using their current tools, as well as taking advantage of new technology around today. Google Ads and the purchase of online display ads are a way to increase paid media in their digital marketing plan to reach a greater, more diverse audience. Investing in PR and marketing training is another way to guarantee better results from launch campaigns. They shouldn't shy away from a more specialized team when dealing with something as important as engagement and traffic. And a focus on more engaging and action-focused content, such as polls, communicating with the public, and the addition of tickets for the Contact Us page on the website can be ever more helpful. Lastly, emotional appeals and creative ways to display the beauty of the community and its people is a great way to really bring the campaign together. The most important question to focus on when posting content is what is going to resonate with the community. Now passing it off to Nico.
In terms of our recommendations for next steps, once a cohesive brand image is established for Uptown and Uptown partners, our key recommendations will help to increase the exposure and engagement within the Uptown community as well as with external stakeholders. With these steps, Uptown should be able to become a neighborhood that people visit for its rich culture and what it has to offer. So when implementing physical markers, it will draw people to Uptown's social media initiatives and the current events that's going on in Uptown, and will help to advertise and kind of shine light on some of the things that Uptown has going on. In implementing the social media strategies is going to increase engagement with the social media, people who are more tech savvy, and as well as external organizations who may want to offer strategic partnerships with Uptown. In terms of Uptown Day is going to be the ultimate opportunity to help the community become known. With in-community businesses being showcased and exposed, people will see Uptown as more than just a place to pass through, and hopefully it will bring people back more and more times as they discover more things about Uptown that they love. In terms of the implementation timeline, most immediately accessible is going to be the social media initiative. In developing this, it will allow community engagement efforts to begin and people to really engage with Uptown as it is online and in person more. Once this is established, you can begin to place physical markers, which will lead to the social media through the QR codes as we discussed. These physical markers are going to pique the interest of both people in the community as well as external stakeholders, and will hopefully draw more people to engage with what Uptown has going on. Once these two steps have been placed, planning and advertising events will become easier. Once you have the infrastructure to expose both the community members and external stakeholders to what you have going on, you can begin to plan and advertise the events and have people know what's actually going on in Uptown. And then these three steps will allow you to create a proud community with people who are more engaged with the identity of Uptown and have more people want to be a part of the Uptown community. With this, we'd like to thank you for your time today and open it up for any questions.